Okay, here's a quick video to show you how to sort out the spring on your Ring Flight Revolution should that spring become damaged in any way. So first of all, what you want to do is just to take off the line from here, from the little swivel clip here. So just cut that, pull the line through, and then you want to take the reel off. So just get the reel here and just give it a little bit of a pull. It will snap off the main body. It should do. If it gets a little bit tough, just get a pair of scissors or some a screwdriver and just pop it off over the little spindle. It'll make a little pop sound. Come on, where are you? There we are, like that. Okay, and then you want to pull the spring out like this. Just let it unravel, and you can remove it like that. There we go, and you can keep the line in there for now. Now your spring, you can straighten this out quite simply like this. Now it doesn't matter how messed up this end part here is. If we just focus in on that, you should be able to see that this one is fairly messed up. All you need to do is get a pair of scissors and just trim off a little bit of the dodgy area there. Don't trim too much off. I mean, anything up to sort of a couple of inches is fine, but the less you trim off, the longer and more powerful that spring will be. And if there's still a little bit there that's not quite straight, you can just get a pair of scissors or a knife and just give it a little bit of a straighten along the edge of something sharp. There we are. And now you can see that's fairly sharp there. Okay, focus in on that. It's not focusing very well today, this camera. Where is it? Let's just try this. There we go. So yeah, you can see that's now fairly straight. Now all we want to do is to put a little bit of an S shape into the end of that spring so it'll fit nicely over the spindle here. So all you do is just pop it onto the spindle just like that. There we are. Try and get it as flat in there. See if I can do this really closely. Try and get it nice and flat like this. And you want just about 5 mil, 6 mil I suppose, coming through, and I'm just going to bend that across a little bit like that and bend this one a little bit like that. Okay, this hasn't got to be in any way perfect, so I'm just going to pull that down a little bit. There we are. If you can see on there, I've just made a little bit of an S shape around there, and now you can pull that off. I'm doing all this without any proper tools because I know not everyone will have tools. I mean, ideally you want a pair of pliers like this, but I'm trying to do this without any tools because I know most people won't have them. It's a tiny bit more fiddly. Just going to use a kitchen knife, in fact, so everyone will have one of these. Pop that off there, there we are. So now our spring on the edge has a little bit of an S shape, if you can see that against my hand there. It really hasn't got to be very much at all, it's just basically a little guide shape. It will sort that out properly afterwards. So now we have that, we're going to put the reel back together. So I like to put the line through the reel first, and then put the end of the reel, the end of the line, sorry, through the hole on the end of your reel. So but I'm going to use some brand new line for this, I think. I'll get this one back as good as new. So this is second-hand line. If I open up and take the line out, I always like to replace it with a new line, so let me just trim that off. It's a bit messy, that. There we are, some new lines, so I'll just quickly tie a knot in this. There we are, and just bite the end off. And find the end, so the end goes through the bottom of the reel. This end I like to put through the hole there first, and I'll then tie this bit onto the little swivel here. So put that on there, let's take this whole bit off there. Yeah. Quick knot. There we are, so that's securely on there, and now we can put the spring back in. So the spring will go, now what you can do here, depending on which model you get, the hole will either be on the left or the right. Now this is a Ring Flight generic, so the hole here is on the left. On the Audi and on the Ford it's on the right side. So if you've got an Audi or a Ford, this will be completely the opposite to what I'm doing now. So we're just going to put the end here back into this little slot. Oops, coming off the camera there. I'm concentrating on what I'm doing, not on the camera. So this goes into this hole here, and so I can come closer to the camera. See that easier? Come on, focus, focus, focus. That'll do. There we are. So that goes into there. Twist it, put it into there. I'm just going to rotate the spring around the inside of the reel like this. There we are, so that goes all the way in. And I'm going to rotate the line around the reel, and it goes round for most models this way. So if the hole is on your left hand side, if you have anything but an Audi or a Ford, it goes around this way here. So I'm going to rotate that around like that. I like to just hold it like this and just twist it. Until we use up all of the line. And from now onwards, most of this part is actually on the DVD that you got with the Ring Flight when you bought it. So now we just pop this back on to the spindle like this. There we are. Now all we have to do is, one thing you want to be careful of here is not to let the line here go underneath the reel like I've just done there. That's getting sloppy. Mr. Bonzel, what are you doing? So I'm just going to take that back off and put it on properly. See, I am only human. Pop that off. Come on. Snap off. There we go. Try that again. So yeah, pop it around. And as I said, try not to let it go underneath the reel as you pop it on, so just keep it nice and taut there. Snap it onto the reel. Okay, now all we have to do, that little tiny bit of that S shape just here, we just need to put on the spindle. So if you do have a pair of pliers, you can just lift up the pliers and put it on there like that. If you haven't got pliers, just pull it out with your fingers. Just put that onto here like that. If I can zoom in nicely on that, you can see what I've done. Just popped it over. Okay, and now this is why I said it doesn't have to be perfect, because all you're going to do now is to take a screwdriver or a knife or anything and just push that spring flat and push it around like that. You'll see which way it goes. It's very natural which way it's going to go around. And again over here, look, you can see that I'm going to zoom right in close to this. If I can, my camera will zoom that close and focus that close. There we are, this bit here, I'm just going to push this around like that. So now we have that naturally occurring S shape through here that flows nicely with the spring. So that will now work perfectly like this, but we do have slack here, so we need to take up the slack. So pull it all the way out now, like this. Okay, and just use something to pull out the slack here. And we're just going to wind this around the reel a couple more times, which just takes up any of the slack on the spring, makes it a little bit more powerful, gives it a bit more torque, and it will shorten the line to the right length. So I'm just going to keep reeling this around here, just making sure you keep an eye on this spring here. You don't want to let go of everything here and let go of the line, because it all springs back in like that. So just keep your pressure on here, just wind it around. There we are, the line, the reel a few times. And again, you'll see I've done this before a few thousand times. And I'm just going to nip the line here against the body like that, and then take up this slack here. That stops it retracting, and then you can let it come in on its own. And there we are, you've now sorted your reel out. One last thing you can do as well if I can zoom really close in here, just press focus, there we are. Where the top of the spring is, where the top of the spring here meets the top of the spindle, just push that down flush, and all you're doing is just pushing the spring here flat to the bottom of the reel. That just makes it a tiny bit more smooth when it retracts. There we are. Now dab a drop of oil there. I'll put the rest of the key back together like so. That all works fine. Like, oops, don't trap the bottom of the knot into the hole. There we are. So done it again. So pull it out first, then snap it together. There we are. And now that works absolutely fine like that. And then if you want it to lock, obviously cut you a little bit off here. I recommend putting a little bit of glue on the knot. A 2-part epoxy resin like Aridite or a similar glue will work well. That just the knot shouldn't come undone, but it can in theory come undone. If you were to put a little bit of glue on that, it will make sure it doesn't. Just slot this little bit here in between those 2 keys and put that back onto the key ring like this. There we are, that's now set up again to lock in place nicely. So that is how to replace the spring, or should I say straighten or fix the spring on your Ringflight Revolution should you have any problems with it. Thank you for watching.